The Raptors strike cruiser Shadowstalker and a small force of battle brothers did remain in the maelstrom for some time. However, to the exact reasons for this is unknown.
And I know why. It's been quite a while since I made a video last time. It's simply the fact that I have a finite amount of hobby time, and right now it pretty much all goes into writing my own skirmish rule set, which is coming along fine, but that's not what this video is about.
If you just want to look at Painted Space Marines, click the timestamp appropriately labeled Painted Space Marines.
Today we have the Tabletop Impulse Hobby Challenge with the Badass Wars. And well, yeah, let's just head straight over to myself with the plan. So short background as to why I'm so specific about things now. 1 year ago, pretty much, I cheated a bit and submitted 2 teams for a previous hobby challenge. And I finished 3rd and also last, which I have no problems with, because there was a reasoning behind, why, and I could actually tell why it was reasonable to put my team last. So I thought it would be a fun thing to see if I could try to get myself to play along with the rules instead, as sort of a meta challenge. So that is why I'm so specific now, because I want my team to be, it should be well painted. It should also have it should be fitting with the lore, which will be a challenge. And what was the third thing? Yeah, you should be able to tell what it is. And I want to fulfill these, but still have a fun time building it. Because I can't imagine myself going to buy the actual just specific product and doing whatever it says on the box and paint it well. That is just too boring. Just like making a Space Marine tactical kill team. So let's see what we get here. The plan was quite simple, or at least the original one, was to take the contents of this box, which is not some candy from Mullsjö. It is actually my unfinished Space Marine army from my youth. I've never actually played 40k. This is the closest I ever got. And I can't use them because they are on 25mm bases, and quite frankly the tactical marine kill team is not very fun. More on why the 25mm bases is important later. I did, however, have these 2 guys that were, I suppose, kit bashed when I was younger, which looked kind of nice. And I mean, this heavy gun here is looking really, really nice, I think. So I want to use these guys, and it also happened to be that I have this box that I bought for playing Kill Team, the previous version, the version that they got rid of by 21. So I actually used it, and nearing the end of the year, I want to, be efficient and get rid of some old plastic. So this will be a perfect complement to these guys, and together there will be, whatever kill team I can find a reason to include all of these guys.
So on to the lore. Reading about the Badab Wars, is that there are 2 things immediately apparent. First off, the basics of this conflict is that there are Space Marines fighting other Space Marines. Some of them are aligned to Chaos Undivided, while others are in the regular loyalty program. If I'm not mistaken, that would be the Emperor they are loyal to. Second of all, I quickly realized that reading lore is not really my thing. But I push through here, and let's see what we get. There seems to be a whole bunch of chapters involved, but when investigating their paint schemes, there is only one that I find attractive: the Raptors. Luckily for me, they are also the only paint scheme that somewhat matches my old paint jobs. So I went on a small detour and read about the Raptors, and I think I struck gold. On their chapter page, there's a short summary of the Badab Wars from their perspective. Now, I don't have to read the whole Badab article, which is kind of massive, I think. And also stumbled on the small note about the Shadow Stalker. The Raptors' strike cruiser, Shadow Stalker, and a small force of battle brothers did remain in the maelstrom for some time. However, the exact reasons for this is unknown. This will be the key for my story, that even offers a twist. In this year, which I assume that you read as the 907th year in the 41st millennia, there was heavy fighting going on. So heavy that the Raptors lost their strike cruiser, Arias Vex. A strike cruiser seems to be quite a massive piece, and what is missing from the lore is that one whole section of this cruiser got torn off in a way that the encapsulation was intact. And that section went on to a weird trajectory no one had the time to notice during the heavy fighting. As the piece drifted through space, the servitors and such worked hard on preparing for an emergent bailout. And after quite a while, their path happened to pass a planet within reach. Almost all important remaining gear managed to make it to the planet, where they could set up a homemade emergency beacon to broadcast the signal. This is the signal the Shadow Stalker was trying to find. Unfortunately, it turned out that they were not alone, and very soon the overwhelming forces of chaos arrived. As the Raptors are a very covert chapter, they had already prepared and could clear off in relative order, but their ability to continue the signal was lost. While in no means in position to retake the planet, they have now established a hidden underground base where they eke out a meager existence. They do, however, also have a presence on the surface, mainly for two reasons. The first is to defend the base. They cannot just stand at the gates firing at passing chaos units, so they do it using small hit-and-run teams striking in patterns that don't give the base away. The second is to scavenge the resources needed to set up another beacon. And this is what our kill team is up to. So, given these made-up facts, and that I want to make a fun team with a lot of weapon options, and preferably one that I have not done yet, the obvious choice would be the Death Watch kill team. I must admit that my main source of knowledge when it comes to the Death Watch is the kill team compendium, so it's not very extended, but it seems to be some sort of cross-chapter gathering of veterans thing. And since the lore is all made up, I can add the fact that there were a few unlucky salamanders present along it, and even two lamenters that were prisoners or something. That would make it a cross-chapter force. And now they've even taken on the name Eoraptors, in order to establish an inter-chapter organization run by the Raptors, while also paying homage to a small reptile roaming the earth in a distant past. And as the colors of the new home planet happens to be very similar to Scandinavian woodlands, some data servitor has dug up an old camouflage scheme from the second millennia that they now put into use. Unfortunately, the color plan was to use the same old colors as the originals as a base coat, but it failed miserably, as it turns out that the Goblin Green and that grey, I recall it having the name Stone Grey, seems to be all gone. And the Dark Angels Green is apparently a contrast paint these days. And that does not really help much when you try to paint a pattern. Anyway, it's not like the first time I mixed colors, so now let me present the Eoraptors. So, here we got them, the Eoraptors. Starting off with I think it's called a captain, right? The boss guy, which I really like because of his little skull companion there. I think that's a nice feature. And also the pose with the sword is kind of reminiscent of the fantasy figures with the broadsword on their shoulder. He actually used to have a much more smoother blend, but it just looked silly when everything else was kind of grungy, so actually grunged him up a bit here. But overall, I like this guy. I've got a plasma gunner, because, well, who doesn't take a plasma gunner? And, well, the guy himself, nice spread out sort of M90 camouflage there. But I really like the little arm thing down here. It's prominent enough to catch your eye and look like a feature, while not, you know, such a large base thing that steals the attention away from the model. Now we got the first of the old timers with the big old gun here, and I mean, it's a gun that is the feature, and I didn't really change the paint job. I think I just dry brushes when I was younger. It looks like that, and I noticed along the way that apparently mold lime removal was not really a priority when I was younger. I'd primed this backpack separately from the guy, but I didn't remove the mold rind, so, well, I actually didn't change that much of these guys, so they might not be as good in the paint job, but yeah, I want to keep them as they were. And then we have the second old timer with the, he's the first two warriors, and he got the sniper rifle thing. I don't really know. This guy is, I think the main thing I'm proud of is that he actually made it into the team. Lucky thing that they had the Stalker Bolter, I think it's called, right? Then we got a second one, the shotgun. I mean, I'm not sure if you actually want to bring a shotgun, but if you do, you have one, because I just could not resist making one. I really like how this guy comes across as someone who, you know, is not really following the rules. He's just stolen some sort of chaos shoulder pad and whatnot, and he's just doing his thing. It really looks, you know, the pose here, I think it really fits with the shotgun. And then last, but certainly not least, perhaps my favorite of the sort of conversions is this fellow. I mean, he's based on these legs, the weird legs that you get in the, you actually get them in the box with the veterans, but there is no body for them. So I just thought, you know, I'll mix it up with a marine body, which makes him actually taller, because they don't seem like to be made to go with the regular marine bodies, but in the end I think it worked out quite well. I mean, it really comes across as someone, you know, a robot with a limp robot. I don't know how you say that. Who only has like one finger left on that arm there, but it sort of limping across the battlefield. He has this bionicle arm here, and half his head is just a skull. It really looks like, you know, the thing that you dug up from the in this spare part departments. You know, this is not your primary selection. It's whatever we got. We need to bring everything we have. So I really like him. So that's the team. But this is not it. In the beginning of the lore, I promised a twist. Here it is. I found this guy and felt that I really wanted to include him as well. Unfortunately, the That's What Killed Him does not include a standard bearer, a spearman or any other, you know, pole-based functions. But then it hit me. 3 of the miniatures are actually not different from the counterparts in the Legionaries kill team. If the leader has a Xenos blade or a Demon blade is very hard to tell. A plasma gunner is a plasma gunner, and suddenly the bad choice of a heavy bolter is a feature, because they exist in both teams. I even have few spare bodies to go, and they are enough to make a complete Legionary kill team. And I can even fit it into the lore. The teams moving on the surface are constantly exposed to the strong chaos, warp, particle, dust, energy that taint the planet. They also bring back and even make use of a lot of contaminated gear. Altogether, this gradually taints the entire force. So now the question is, will the Shadow Stalker find them? Or will they remain on the planet and slowly turn to chaos? Who knows? But here is the legendary kill team, the Shrödingers Shreders. That was hard to say.
Starting off with the, I think it's called the Shrider Talon, right? The guy with the knives. I actually found this chaos front of a guy with a matching knife. So I strapped him onto some regular tactical marine legs and I got a Shrider Talon, which I kind of like. Because he's in the same sort of department as the shotgun guy. You can't really tell if it's chaos or not. Well, actually it looks kind of chaos, but I mean, he's really a crossover. That doesn't go for this guy. Here clearly something has gone out of hand, you know. Quite literary. And I don't know why I added the angel wings here, or from there. But I really like it. It really looks like this guy is a fallen angel, that's for sure. It's not doing the thing he's supposed to do. But overall, I really like him. He looks kind of mean, actually. And then of course we got he's not called a sorcerer, but you get it. I can't remember the name now. And he got a weird arm to show that he's some sort of weird guy, and he's also chaos. He got a purple, no actually magenta sword to bring out something that contrasts to the nicer green stuff. And yeah, he also looks like some wicked person. And then finally the guy who actually made me make a legionary team as well. The guy with the banner. And you might say, you know, this banner does not really fit the team. And no, it doesn't. But I mean, I just wanted to freehand something to, I suppose, show that the paint jobs are kind of grungy, but that's not, it's not by mistake. It's the way I want it. So I wanted to freehand something to say that I could actually paint. I mean, it's not a reward-winning paint job, but I mean, it is a freehand banner. And if you did not notice the resemblance, I hope that you could think of this one. The old Undead book, which happened to be laying around when I was deciding for a paint job. So I thought, that's it. That's the one it's gonna be. So I'm kind of proud that I actually did that, but... And I'm also very proud that I actually got the guy in the team. So, here they are. I decided to call them the Shrödingers Shreders because of the, well, the dual nature of the team. Well, anyway, here they are. So, in conclusion, did I succeed? No, I didn't. I failed pretty miserably with my own mission. I mean, I did paint a team, not only one team, but I painted 2 teams, and I finished them in time. But my own challenge was to, you know, play along with the lore, paint one team, you know, not in the way that I like, but the way I think the judges like, you know, like the well painted sort of way, and it should be very clear what it is. Instead, I sort of found a loophole in the lore and did my own thing. Anyway, the team is not very. I mean, I suppose this is a plasma guy. You can't argue with that one, and I mean, this is a chaos guy, so you can't really argue with that one. And as soon as you know that it is a, you know, Death Watch, I mean, this is a shotgun.
You can't argue with that. So I suppose they're kind of clear. I mean, a standard bearer. Yeah, this is a standard bearer. Icon bearer. You can't argue with that. So I suppose that they're quite clear actually. But I mean, I did break the lore to make them. And the coloring, you know, like the paint jobs. I mean, they're not bad. It's just that they are the way that I like them instead of the way. The challenge was to try to make in a way that someone else like, and this is the way I like them. I mean, this guy even went back, you know, like grunged up his hair because they were really smooth at first, and then it just looked really weird. So yeah, I failed, even though they look the way I like. So the bases are nice though. I really like my bases. I'm quite proud of those, but I suppose that's it. Well, anyway, enough rambling. Thank you for watching, and whatever you try to achieve, don't forget to enjoy your hobby.